Alright guys, we've got another modification for the RV, for our beautiful Rockwood 2899KS. We love our fifth wheel, but there were some things that we wanted to change. We're making it ours.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
We optioned this in, and there's different options that you could do for your fifth wheel. Just make sure you talk with your dealer, talk with Rockwood. They'll give you the details that you need. Almost all these units now come with what they call solar on the side. It's a plug that's out front on the RV and allow you to plug in a solar suitcase. Now I talked about that on our old Rockwood because it had it, and I do have a solar suitcase. It's like 100 watts. The thing to watch is the solar suitcase needs to have its own charger because that connection is direct to the battery. So the battery either needs to be protected somehow, or if you're using just what you have on board, usually everybody has just regular old like car batteries, but they're called deep cycle batteries or marine batteries or RV batteries. Those are just glorified car batteries that are made to put out lesser cranking volts and strong voltages and amps, but over a longer period of time, and they're made to discharge deeper and then be recovered. Where a car battery is made to just hit, start the car, and then charge back up, and then just help maintain the components of the car as you're driving down the road and using them. The thing is those batteries are heavy that come from the factory, and I'm trying to cut weight but increase capacity. So we have one interstate deep cycle RV marine battery in the battery box in the front of the RV. There's two battery boxes up there. I could have just as easily bought another battery, an RV battery, and put it in the other box and then wire them together. But the problem with that is weight. They're heavy. They're about 50 pounds a piece, and it's already kind of a heavy RV. I optioned in 2 solar panels on this RV, an extra air conditioner, washer and dryer, and all these windows, every one of them are double paned windows. They have 2 panes of glass. They're insulated. That's a lot of weight. All that added weight to the RV. So we're trying to keep the weight down as much as possible, just because we want to make sure that we can put our stuff in here and have plenty, and we can travel with water if needed. A decent amount of water, I might add. So what we were looking to do is utilize the solar that we optioned in and the solar suitcase that we have. Again, 190 watt panel, another 190 watt panel. That's what Forest River or Rockwood has installed. And then they installed the charge controller, and they installed a 1000 watt inverter. Now, we could probably go to a bigger inverter, but I'm going to try the 1000 watt because the only thing we really use the electricity for when we're not hooked up is to power stuff as we're going down the road and keep stuff charged up. And what I mean is there's certain circuits throughout this RV that have little stickers on them that say Inverter Circuit. Let me show you one. There's one right there, Inverter Circuit. So what's that mean? It means I can go unplug the RV right now from the post, and guess what? In this case, we'll be able to run our shredder. Of course, that doesn't sound like something that you need to make sure you have solar and batteries for, right? But nonetheless, we like to sometimes keep our laptops powered up or at least getting charged. And of course our phones, if we stop for the night, these little 5-volt USB plugs, usually there's a couple of them that operate off a battery. But in this case, these on this sofa, they operate off of an inverter circuit. And the other thing is, going back to the refrigerator, we can't access the refrigerator with a slide-in. We can access this one that's behind a mirror. Heidi was contemplating if we were going to put a mirror up, but actually we have really nice mirrors in the bedroom, so we're probably going to utilize those. So this is just a wine cooler style refrigerator, but this is on an inverter circuit. You can see here's another one. This is an inverter circuit too. There's quite a few inverter circuits throughout here. If I'm not mistaken, I think maybe one of the pop-ups in the back might be an inverter circuit. But this will allow us to put our food and drinks and everything in here while we travel. And when we stop, all we got to do is just reach in here, grab it. Of course, we're not going to be able to cook because the microwave will be back there. The stove is back there. But we'll be able to get something to eat, a snack, a drink, and then, of course, utilize our bathroom and our bedroom when the slides are still in. This is the charge controller that comes with the Rockwood components. The only downfall to this is it's kind of a cheaper setup as far as it's a PWM. It's not the top of the line as far as the engineering that's concerned. As an MPPT controller, the MPPT controller has different algorithms and different charging profiles that are ideal for lithium-ion batteries. However, this does have a setting for lithium-ion. The only thing is, it says if you try to charge a lithium-ion with this, there's two things you have to know. Number one, the lithium-ion battery that you use has to and can only be the chemistry of lithium iron phosphate. So I don't know anything about that. What is it? It's just the ones that say LifePo4. LifePo4, that's lithium iron phosphate. That's the secret code for the battery geeks to know what it is. So you're going to look for that kind of battery. That's the number one thing that they say. If you're using their solar and that charge controller to charge a lithium battery, it has to be lithium iron phosphate. It only works with that chemistry. Number two, because that thing doesn't have any kind of a great charging profile for lithium batteries, they say for protection reasons that the battery has to have its own BMS, battery management system. So basically inside the battery is a little circuit board, and that circuit board is doing nothing but protecting that battery. For example, if the charge controller is trying to charge it too fast or for too long, the BMS will break that off and say, nope, I'm protecting the battery, I don't want it ruined. That's what it's for. So looking for that, I started searching for lithium-ion batteries, and that's what I've got my hands on here. I wanted to buy like a Battleborn, but I wanted one of the big ones. You know what I didn't want? The $1,600 charge. I can't do that. I'll talk about it in the future. We did buy a new generator for our running of the AC units on the roof here, and I'm talking about the air conditioner, because you have to have so much solar and so many batteries to run your air conditioners, and it's really not feasible because these air conditioners are so inefficient as far as power goes. It really don't work. So we have a generator for that. Future video, look for that. We decided that we were going to try to utilize the solar and the battery more, because there's a lot of times that we stop at places and we don't necessarily need to run the AC, but we do need to run fans to keep it cool inside. And we wanted something that we might be able to utilize the amount of amp hours that's available. We wanted to run it longer, and lithium batteries, you can look at research on that, or you can look at videos on that, and they talk about how much better they are than the lead acid batteries. Well, in our case, we're going to use one of the strong reasons for lithium ion, and that is weight savings, because again, the RV is so heavy. For me right now, I have one deep cycle battery that I think has 90 amp hours. I'm pretty sure it's 90 amp hours. I might be wrong on that. And the battery weighs like 50 pounds. We wanted something that had 200 amp hours. So that means we would have to add another 50-pound battery to an RV that's already kind of heavy. So that's why we went to lithium, because we went to one big lithium battery that has 200 amp hours, and it weighs as much as just one lead acid battery. And we don't have to worry about the ventilation and all that stuff that's built into the RV right now with the battery boxes and the lids and all that, because of ventilation. Those lead acid batteries have to vent, and they have to vent outside of the compartment. The lithium ions don't. They can be mounted pretty much anywhere, and we want to get back some of that front storage that we have, and this is going to allow us to do that. Of course, the link is going to be down in the description, but this is of course a lithium iron phosphate battery with a BMS, and it was the cheapest that we could find on Amazon that has really good reviews. And we ordered this, it came a day early, and it's about 4 days shipping time. So just had Heidi tell me, how much was the price?
$688.99.
$688.99. Now, to get this in a Battleborn footprint, and I'm not comparing this to a Battleborn, because I know that's one of the better ones, or a Renogy or or a Go Power or whatever, you know, you're talking $1,600 for the Battleborn version. I think that there's a cheaper way of getting it done, and guess what? That's what I'm doing here. So we will be the guinea pigs for this, and you can decide if this is something you want to do. So the company is JITA. You can see the battery, and it is. It's 12.8 volts. It's 200 amp hour, lithium iron phosphate, and it does have a BMS in there. The best part about it is it's 53 pounds. Boy, this is kind of a nice brochure. Oh, it tells us all kinds of stuff about the batteries. We'll be able to show this to you. I didn't know this was going to be in there. I don't have to look this up. So you can see there's a lot of different ones that we could do here. This is a 52 volt. I'm not doing 52 volts. This is 25 volts, 25 volts. We're not doing 25 volts. Here's the 12 volt ones. I did look at the 300 amp hour one. I almost got that one, but I decided not to go crazy. We wanted to stay with the 200 amp hour. And then of course they have a standard size 100 amp hour. These are all the, this is all the information. So the one that I have here is the 12.8 volt 200 amp hour. Again, we'll just let you see this. I'm not going to go through all this because quite honestly, I don't know enough about batteries to tell you what this actually means in real world. It makes sense to me. See, I could put a 2,000 watt inverter. I'm not going. I'm only a 1,000 watt inverter. There's the conditions as far as charging temperature range. Not too bad. You don't want to do it when it's too cold. And here's the dimensions: 20.5 by 9.4 by 8.5. So basically just over 20 inches, 9.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And again, much better than what we've got currently. So here's all the information. Low temperature heating function. There's an internal heating plate in the battery. Tells you how to charge it. Read through all this stuff. It's very interesting. I think that it's going to be a nice addition. So let's go ahead and pop this open and look at the battery. We all want to see what it looks like. Wow, this is bigger than I thought. I'm gonna have to have Heidi lift this because I can't. What do you think, Heidi? You lift it because I can't?
How heavy is it?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's 50 pounds.
Oh wow.
That's big.
For a big battery like that?
Yeah.
Pretty light.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Heidi used to sling batteries around quite a bit when she worked at Advanced Auto Parts. So here it is out of the box. It's got a couple built-in rope handles. That helps. And as far as the dimensions, you can see a little bit wider than what a standard battery would be, I think. You know, I don't know. I think a Group 24 is probably about... Yeah, Group 24 is not quite as wide, meaning that it would be probably cut off here, and it's probably about half of that, you know, as far as what goes in a battery box. But yeah, this will allow us to store this pretty much anywhere we want. We could, if we want, put this in our pass-through storage and run some wires in there. That would give me my front storage, the entire front storage, to do whatever we want. But we could also put this in the front storage. We have a little corner that we think it'll fit in perfect, and we'll be able to get rid of the lead acid battery and still have oomph if needed with this. So again, that'll be part of this video, and you'll see that. Not for me. I've got other stuff I'm doing. I'm in the middle of editing videos for you guys. I'm not going to be able to get to it for a couple days, but you're going to get to see it in 3, 2, 1. The battery situation, you can kind of tell it takes up more space than I really would like for it to. I don't know how to really describe that, because I'm all about looking at an area and seeing the potential for more storage. And look at this, that I see storage back here. I see something that could utilize storage. So initially I thought, okay, maybe we can take and move the battery box around the corner. That might work. And then I thought, well, then we got to worry about the hoses. So now I'd have to put this longer one, this one out here, that one back there. So that would require this one to move, and one battery would be crooked. And you know, I still have to wire both batteries in. So let me go ahead and pull these boxes out. Rockwood gives you the disconnect switch, which is nice. Let's go ahead and do that. So, you know, the battery's disconnected at this point. And, you know, I've checked all this wiring, and although there's a little chaotic look to it, it's done nicely. They have made good connections on the ends. They've done stuff like, you know, put these twist locks in here and then put tape on them for them not to spin. I mean, that's a thing that a lot of people do, but, you know, usually that's not something they do during assembly. Usually they just twist them on there and let them go. But yeah, they did a pretty good job with this. So that battery that I got, I have all intentions of it fitting back in this corner, minus, you know, what these cables that are back here. Again, I know that the lighting's pretty poor, but we'll see what happens. I think we might be able to work around this, and might have to trim a little foam here to make it fit, but I think I'm going to be able to get that bigger battery in there. So the battery came out relatively easy, and so did the boxes for that matter. There's just a single screw holding the hoses on the fittings. Heidi ran the numbers on the battery. It's 88 amp hours. So this battery weighs roughly 50 pounds and gives you 88 amp hours. And it has to be vented, versus the lithium ion that we have gives you 200 amp hours. It's the same type of situation as far as hookup. You just have one positive, one negative. But the thing is it weighs about the same as this battery, and it gives you more than double. And not only that, but lithium batteries, they are more usable voltage, meaning they'll go longer before they need recharged. One thing I have to, a little challenging here, these large holes that are in the bottom, and that was for the ventilation of the batteries. You know, the bottom of the box ventilated into the top. The top had a gathering height to it to gather whatever fumes may come up, and then they get directed to a hose that went out these vents here, to keep them out of of course, the compartment, like I said. So now I'm going to kind of fiddle around with this and try to figure out, probably just put a piece of wood down here. Hopefully it's really thin to block this off. And these holes I'm not too concerned about, because that's just, we put a little bit of silicone in there and that'll be fine. All that we did for the time being is just put some Gorilla Tape in there. Now, after we had already put this tape in, I told Heidi, I said, well, shoot, what we should have done is put a Turnabond. I mean, a Turnabond would have worked. And we have some, and it's black even, because it's from our son's van, and we were doing his solar on his roof, and his van's roof was black. But this will work, and of course I did the same thing underneath too. We'll see how long it lasts, and we can always go to a Turnabond if we want to. So I'm going to wipe out this just a little bit better and put this in and put the battery in. We'll come back to that. All right, so here it is inside. I think at some point I might try to make it to where the battery has some sort of a hold down to it, although, you know, it's in here pretty good. I think that we could do better. I think I can make it better somehow. It's all buttoned down. I got to go in and change the battery type on the solar charge controller. Gotta make sure that these wires are in good shape, that they're not going to fall down and short out or do anything crazy on the battery. I think I might try to find some sort of a connector cover there for the post. But yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape here. So with that installed, you can see the indication that we have an LFP here. That LFP, of course, means that it's a lithium. And again, the only way that this works in my situation is that battery has a built-in battery management system. It has a BMS, because this charge controller is the lesser of what you would consider charge controllers. Let me go ahead and see if, I think there's a way that I can get this to, yeah, there we go. I think it cycles too. But these are the specifics of it. I can also, you see the Bluetooth flashing, I can also connect this, and I do connect this to my phone. I can make changes with it there. But that battery will allow us to boondock and have the capacity of 2 of those heavy lead acid batteries, those deep cycle batteries, for a pretty decent amount of money considering what some of the big brand names are. We'll have to see as far as longevity if we have any issues with it. I hope this gives you an idea of what you might be able to do, and if you have a Rockwood, you can now know that if you buy that battery that's in the link down below in our description, not only does it help our channel out by me giving you more content like this, but also it will allow you to purchase the same battery and put it inside your Rockwood fifth wheel, just like I just showed you, so you can duplicate the process. So as always, guys, we hope to see you out here. Bye.